My name is Rosina. I'm a banker, I'm a biker, an event planner. I let one out. Salsa dancer. Let's go again, don't worry. Hello. Once again, this is your girl, Salsarozie, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you, you amazing subscribers and followers. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the messages. I appreciate all of it. I don't take it lightly at all. Well, this week, as usual, I come to you with something very exciting. And that is simply how to handle postpartum depression, what it is. You know, most of the time as ladies, once we get married or even once you have a stable partner, we look forward to getting pregnant. We look forward to having a baby we can care for, a baby we could call our own. But sometimes when the baby comes, it comes with a lot of stress, sometimes severe depression. I know I had my share of it, but I didn't understand what it was. I couldn't explain it until later. Then I realized that there was something known as postpartum depression. Well, but today I have with me a very big woman. Well, she's not as big when you look at her, but she's big. Okay? She's a licensed counseling psychologist with the Center for Psychological Services and Professional Development. That's a mouthful. Center for Psychological Services and Professional Development. Shortly put, Cypro Ghana. Her name is Helena Nakote Papafio. And guess what? I was in school with her. Yeah, I went to the same school. Yeah. So we know ourselves for long, over 2 decades. We don't want to disclose our ages, so we'll just say over 2 decades and leave it at that. Anyway, Helena, welcome. So to start with, postpartum depression, it really hits me so hard. So this particular topic, like I told you, is very, very dear to me because I think that if women know what it was and could identify it and probably know how to deal with it, we'll probably have better people or women managing this beautiful experience much better. So to start with, what is postpartum depression?
So postpartum depression, as Rosie explained a little bit at the beginning, you see, most times when new mothers, just after they've had the baby, they experience some mood swings. Sometimes at one point they are excited, at one point they are sad, they find it difficult to sleep, they feel irritable. Okay, this is usually normal, and we call this set of symptoms the baby blues. But usually after 2 weeks, if they don't disappear, then that's when there's a cause for concern. And after the 2 weeks, then we can diagnose it as postpartum depression. So what's the difference between the baby blues and postpartum depression? The baby blues are just similar to the postpartum depression, just that after 2 weeks after delivery, the baby blues, all those symptoms should have disappeared.
Okay.
And with the baby blues, it doesn't prevent the mother from caring for the baby. But with the postpartum depression, you realize that after 2 weeks, it's still persistent, it's still there, and even gets more severe. And the mother sometimes finds it difficult to care for the baby. It affects how the mother, if she's alone, she may be able to take care of the baby, but it affects how well she's able to care for the baby. And so some of the symptoms of postpartum depression, the mother may sometimes cry. Apart from crying, the mother may feel anxious. She may find it difficult to eat. Sometimes she may find herself sleeping too much or sleeping too little. And there are a whole lot of symptoms that this comes with. And the main thing is that it makes it difficult for her to care for the baby, you see. And when it happens like that, some mothers find that they feel guilty. It's also one symptom. They feel guilty. They feel the baby, they're feeling these symptoms. That means that probably they are not a good mother. They don't deserve the baby. They feel guilty. Yeah, that's also one of the symptoms of the postpartum depression.
What is the worst form of depression you have encountered? Or let me rephrase. For instance, when you take, especially for African mothers or the African society, a baby is a blessing, and it is what solidifies a marriage, sort of. So once you get married, even during the traditional marriage process, twins, triplets, they are calling all manner of numbers for you. Now, how easy is it for, in your scope of study or professionalism, for African women to actually come out openly and admit that they are clearly depressed for a baby? Because I feel that sometimes it's difficult because you are scared of the stigma. So how difficult? Do you have people coming in, and how do you treat it, or how do you address it?
Actually, in Ghana, to talk about Ghana, the Ghanaian setting,
Mm.
the percentage of women or new mothers who go through postpartum depression, about 10 to 15% of new mothers go through postpartum depression.
Mm.
You know, these things have, like, for instance, psychology has been with us for a while, but then it hasn't been understood well
Okay.
till a few years or till recently that things were made the
More acceptable in our society.
exactly. So most mothers, some don't even want to talk about it.
Yes.
Because they feel that people would judge them. People would feel that they are, like I said, they are not good enough mothers. Because, like you said, a newborn baby, that's what people have been praying for. And you have gotten a baby and you are feeling so sad about it, or you are feeling you wish the baby, you didn't have the baby, or you wish you threw the baby away. Some even feel that sometimes they want to even throw the baby or put the baby at a rubbish dump or something. Yes, so it's a little difficult sometimes for most mothers to come out to say that they have postpartum or this is what they are experiencing. I had a friend who told me her experience when she had a baby. She realized that for about 2 or 3 days she wasn't sleeping. So she went. The first point of call was to see the GP. So she went to the GP and told the GP that this is what she's experiencing. Then they got to know that it is postpartum
depression.
So she was referred to the psychologist.
Okay.
So these days things are a little
Better.
different, but in the past they just kept it to themselves. Even now, some even feel a little guilty, but it's better because when they report to the hospital, they complain of their symptoms. Then they ask for the doctors. They know what it is, so then they refer.
Okay.
So these days it's a little better.
Okay. Now, before we continue, let me just quickly chip in. If you have seen the lovely earrings that I'm wearing, and Helena is also wearing, I'd like to say thank you to Just Princess, aka JP. I'm sure her number is displayed on the screen. You see her number. And if you want such look, she made beautiful necklaces and earrings for me. On the next set, I'm going to show you what she did for me. Beautiful. So if you want nice pieces like this, Just Princess, her number is displayed on the screen. Okay, now for what's it called? For the postpartum depression. Once you are confronted with it, assuming the mother knows, what are some of the first, what are some of the basic suggestions you probably give to a new mother who is experiencing this? Because let me chip in this. You know, when I had my first child, for instance, I got a lot of tidbits from Google, and I thought, oh, Google had all the answers. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park. You know, when the baby is crying, just tap on the back and pull this and do this. But I got so depressed when I realized that I didn't have use of my time anymore. I didn't have freedom to go where I wanted to go. I felt like a prisoner in my own home. And I watched my husband just get up, and within 5 minutes, he was dressed, stepping out, and I was getting depressed because then I had to stay in, take care of the baby, think of where I have to go, think of what I have to pack in my bag if I have to take him out, and think of, you know, even what to go into the bag. There were times we'll go out after carrying that huge bag. I realized I left some one ingredient out, and that particular instant, that's what he needed. Now, assuming you have a woman who knows that I'm getting depressed, what are some of the recommendations you give to them immediately?
Now, the first thing that we tell them or make them aware of is that the first thing is that what they are experiencing, some mothers go through that. So it is something that it's, I won't say normal, but sometimes some people go through it.
Okay.
And they shouldn't judge themselves. They shouldn't feel bad about it. They shouldn't feel guilty. It's not their fault. They are not bad mothers. That's one thing, the first thing that they should do. Now, postpartum depression can be managed. It can be treated.
Okay.
So the first thing is to report to your psychologist or the psychiatrist. First of all, I would say you should see your psychologist.
Okay.
So There are sometimes, you see, some things that may cause this. There are some social factors that may cause it. Sometimes it's genetics. You see, sometimes you may have, it may be something that runs in your family. We have to find out all these things. If the cause is genetics, then probably you might be referred to a psychiatrist to give you some medication to manage it. If it is social factors, then we have to dissect it. Then that's the work of the psychologist. For instance, the mother of the baby, let's say she's not married, but she has a partner, and she got pregnant. She wanted the baby, but then when the baby came, maybe the partner was probably not in agreement with the pregnancy in the first place. So she feels like she has the baby, and like most mothers or most couples would welcome the baby together. But in this instance, the man is not in support of the baby arriving. There are instances when the woman got pregnant, and the man said she should get rid of it, but she kept it. And so sometimes these pressures, the man not being in acceptance of the baby 100%, sometimes she all these thoughts go through her mind. So if this is the case, then we have to sort of take her through therapy and help her so that she doesn't expect
support that is not available.
Yes, support that is not available. So things like that. Yes, sometimes too, she may have some thoughts that may be going through her mind. Maybe she may feel that she may be married with her husband, living with her husband, but she may have certain thoughts or certain expectations. I will call them distorted thoughts. She will feel like she feels, or she may think that once the baby has arrived, the normal thing is that the man should also take part. But in this African setting, the men usually they leave everything. They leave everything to the woman. Once a while they may help, but when they were dating, probably they go everywhere together. They eat together. They do everything together. But now that the baby is here,
you're on your own.
And the woman sometimes she may feel or think that we used to do everything together. So this one, so let's do it together. That thought valid in this African setting. So there are different types of distorted thoughts that make us sometimes depressed. There's a whole lot of them, but I'm just using this as an example.
So with all what you said, how important are the men, especially the ones who are responsible for the pregnancy, husbands, boyfriends, baby daddies, whichever category they fall into, how important are they to managing postpartum depression? And do men also feel it?
Yes, that's one thing. Let's address the question, do men also feel it first? Yes, some research has been done, and some people argue out that men also experience some form of depression, postpartum depression. How? It's something that could be thought about. If both husband and wife are in bed at night sleeping and the baby cries, the baby cries out. Once the baby cries out, though the mother is expected to handle the baby, that crying wakes the daddy up. And if he is also somebody who is involved, who likes to be involved in the caring of the baby, he'll probably help with caring for the baby. And so he ends up also staying awake for some.
And that the breast is no longer for him, it's not for the baby.
So their sexual life might also be altered a little bit. And he may go through a little stress. The following morning, yes, he goes to work and leaves the woman home. The woman, and maybe at some point when the baby falls asleep, she may take a nap, but he has to go to work. So yes, we may say that they experience a little bit of stress also as well. Yes. So they go through something of that sort.
Yes. All right. So the men, how can they help?
Yes, so the men, what they can do is that they should be more supportive of their wives. Sometimes give a hand. Though they may go to work the following day, when they come home, they should give some form of support or help. I have a friend whose wife, when she had the baby, he came home from work. The wife was so stressed. She hadn't slept like the night before, and this night, during that night, she was so, you could see from her face and everything, her body language, that she was so stressed. So what he did as a caring husband was to handle the baby and told the wife to have some sleep. She had to sleep. Like he would care for the baby so that at least she gets some sleep. So this is an example of a supportive husband. So amen. Let's try to give a hand. Yes, we understand that you have to go to work and all that, but when you can, there are cases where some men also take paternity, maternity, they also take paternity leave. Yes, so if it's possible for you to do that, why not? Because the caring of the baby and the arrival of the baby, it's a source of stress to most women. I could say even all women. So they should try to give him a hand, give a supportive hand or supportive help to the new mothers who are their wives.
Okay. So on that note, I know we are running out of time. Thank you so much, Helena. Now, my closing remarks. Look, Helena is coming from the Center of Psychological Services and Professional Development. That's CYPRO for short. Now, listen, there's help out there. Her number, her company name, company number is also being displayed on the screen. It's been there from the beginning and we've displayed it again. Now, seek help. Get their attention. Make sure you talk to somebody because postpartum depression is real. I went through it. It was so difficult. It was nasty. I wish I had the opportunity of speaking to a counseling psychologist to help me through it. So please, you're not alone. You're not a bad parent. You're not a bad mother. It is actually a clinical condition that can be sorted. You can get help for it. So get help. Thank you so much, Helena. It's been wonderful. So anyway, so Helena is going to go with me few series. So, the next post is coming. Just stay tuned. This is salsarozie. Thank you for watching my channel. Bye. If you do like this, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notification button so that you can get more of this content every week. Thank you. Or every day, whatever. Is it okay? Okay. Salsarozie.